Hi, my name is Natalia and I'm coming to you from Denmark, and this is my knitting podcast. Summer is finally here and I was pulling out from my wardrobe my knitted tee, and today I decided to wear this really nice tee that's called Nomad tee, and I will put information about all my project down below. I believe I was test knitting this pattern a year or 2 years ago already. Yes. So it's available on Ravelry. It's have really interesting construction because it's knitted sideways, and this pattern would look like a collar work. It's actually mosaic knitting, so it's not that hard and it's really pretty, and there's a lot of projects in different colors and they all look great. I use for this the green yarn. That was mystery for me because I reused this yarn I had before the sweaters knitted in this yarn, and two of this yarn I don't remember now, but I was using them both for another projects, like this blue color I use for the sweater, and there's another light color. It's have it's light color and have speckles of pink and green in, and that I use in one of shawls that I was knitting. So yeah, really like how it's look. Can recommend this. Easy project but look really nice and really interesting to knit. Yes, now I will start with what I finished from the last podcast to now and what I'm working on. So last time I was working on my Musselburgh hat and I finished it. Yeah, I washed and blocked it already, and it looked quite nice. That yarn was really soft, and I have more of this, so I'm thinking to knit more hats and maybe had this for present for Christmas or another thing. So probably I will cast on more this Musselburgh hats. Really easy, really nice, and they look nice after. So that's one of my finished object from last time. So it's number one. Next finished object I didn't show last time because I didn't started it last time, but I need one more summer tee. I just knitted this project and it's called Geometri top. It is not released for now, but yeah, it's used DK. I use DK yarn, a DK cotton yarn. I had in my stash, and I had not a lot of this, so I was afraid if I will have enough to finish this project, but I had barely enough. This top have really interesting construction. So first you need this front panel and a back panel. I think they're identical if I remember right. Yes, and then you picking up stitches, casting more stitches, and then knitting this side pallets in opposite sides. Yes, and then you need all what you have to do is to seam this side, and I seam one side, and on the way when I was seaming another way my yarn ended, so I basically use another cotton yarn is in similar color. The problem was that my another yarn, it was thinner, so I hold it double and just seamed it. I didn't wear it yet. I wash and block it, but I didn't wear that, but I'm looking forward for this. It look nice, fabric feels nice. Some cotton is really stiff to work with, but this one is like really squishy and nice fabric, so I'm really happy. it's summer now, so I'm not really knitting some big projects, but this small are always nice. There's something on the needles, and yeah, that was really easy project, but at the same time it's look nice and it's interesting, have really interesting construction, and I like how it turned out. So that's my finished object, and that's already quite a lot, but that's not all. I knitted also 2 dishcloths. Early this year I bought a lot of cotton yarn in different colors, and I thought I will make a lot of dishcloths in different colors, and we'll use them on the kitchen, and all will be, our kitchen is just like white and black, so I thought I will add some colors by using colorful dishcloths. So I finally start to do this, and I knit 2 of them. They look like that. I use really simple pattern when you use just knit and pearls, and it's making like these squares. But yeah, I didn't like to knit dishcloths on the edge when you increasing and then decreasing, because they don't hold that shape. They don't hold square shape. They look more like rhomb, and I don't really like it. So I just cast on. I remember, I think patterns call it for 66 stitches, and then it have you to slip first stitch on each row and knit last stitch, and then in middle of this you do this pattern. And yeah, so one dishcloth use less than 50 gram, but it's like more than half, so I don't really know how to deal with this, because I cannot make 2 dishcloths from one ball to the same at least. Yeah, and I don't really want to invest in more, so I believe that in the end I will be left with a lot of ball of yarn when I use like more than a half, but not all, and I will don't know what to do with them. Technically I can add different color to that, but I don't know if I really want to do this or no. So right now I'm thinking what I should do and how I should do this. But yeah, this is 2 dishcloths what I made for now, and I like how they turn out. I use this yarn, it's called Wow, it's just cotton yarn, and it have how much, 170 meters in 50 grams, and needles I use 3mm needles for this dishcloth. Yeah, I like how it's look. The numbers for this yarn you can find on my Ravelry page. I will link below. If you don't use Ravelry, you can just message me and I will tell which numbers I use for this dishcloth. So yeah, but it's really easy project and fast. I didn't time how long it take to knit it, but it's quite fast. Yes, that still wasn't all what I knitted. I was waiting patiently until 1st of June, when the Crazy Sock Lady will start summer sock camp, and that started, and I cast on the socks right away. I think it was first thing what I made 1st of June in the morning when I wake up, and I knew that kids still sleeping and I had some time, so I cast on socks. So I had this colorful yarn in my stash. I didn't know what it was, because I get this in recycle shop. It's like thrift shop. Yes, so I didn't knew what it was, but it looked like sock yarn. So I was waiting long time to make some socks, and that was perfect time to make it. That was my first pair of sock. I will try to put them on sock blockers to show you how they look. it's a yarn when the color is changing, but repeats are really long, so I didn't bother to find and start them on the same place. So my two socks, they look like couple, like pair of socks for me. I mean, maybe not like couple, but maybe like sisters. But you can see that they are knit from same yarn. I think knitters will knew that that is a pair of socks, but maybe for not knitters they will look like strange, because they don't start in the same color place and they don't end in the same. But I really like how they turn up. First, for me, it was like I thought that that's kind of like weird combination when you have green and like pink and purple together with some peachy color, but they actually coming together nicely and I like how they look. Yeah, so as you see, they don't start in the same place, they don't finish in the same place by color, but they look similar, and they look similar enough for me to be happy with how they turn out. Yes, so for knit this pair I cast off from toe. Normally I use 56 stitches, and this time I decided to try new toe for me, and it's called Shadow. I don't remember exactly. I will put down below something. It's short row toe, and Ariston girl, she have a tutorial for this toe on her podcast, on her YouTube channel, and I look after that. I found more video about this heel and really like how it's look. It was easy to knit and I really like how it's look in the end. So I believe from now it will be like my favorite heel. It will be my favorite heel, or at least for some time that will be like this. I really like how that look, and as I told before, it was easy to knit. So yeah, the summer sock camp have 4 cabins. One for people who use magic loop, one for deep ends, one for 9-inch, and another is called, if I remember right, weird cabin, when you can use all another methods. So this first sock what I was knitted, I was making in magic loop. I think it's kind of like my favorite way to knit socks. I learned how to knit socks on deep ends, but after this, when I hear about magic loop and I try it, I really like it. I think it's less fiddly and I don't afraid to lose stitches, because my stitches is always, there's always cord what can secure my stitches from slip. But yes, that's my first finished socks. After I finished these socks, I was wanted to knit more socks, and not long time ago I bought some summer sock yarn. So it's like cotton and nylon blend, and I decided to knit some shorties for myself to basically use them in summer. And so far I finished 3 pairs. Yes, so I believe I will use just one sock blocker to show them. I don't know how freely available this yarn is, because I bought this in a supermarket. It's not like yarn shop but selling this, and that supermarket they have like seasonal products sometimes, so this yarn one of that. As I told before, on Ravelry I will list in all my yarns to the project, but I don't have labels here because I believe I already trashed it. So yeah, my shorties look like that. I again started from toe, and again use this shadow row short heel, yes. And then I make the sock a little higher here on the back, that I hope that will prevent sock from slipping in the shoes. And yes, I make this by short rows, and again I use short rows that what I used before in the heel. And to help ribbon this part to hold on the legs, I make the ribbon inside and then just sew that together. So these socks I knit on DP ends, and yeah, I still remember how to do this. It's okay to knit on DP ends. I have one DP ends needles what I really like. I have them, I don't know, really long time. They're metal, and I'm normally using them for socks. But if I want to compare knitting socks on magic loop and on DP ends, I will prepare a magic loop. I think it's because when I'm knitting socks, I knit socks when I do something else, normally like when I'm reading or when I'm watching something, and then I'm not looking on my socks. So but when I have DP ends, then when I'm changing from one to another needles, I need to look this first stitch if I pick up this right. And with DP ends it's taken, I don't know, at least 3 times in a row I should look for that. So that may be not my favorite thing, but I need it. Next sock I knitted, it was also Shorties, also same yarn, another color, and I knitted them on 9-inch circular. I have Adi 9-inch circular. They look like that, really similar to the previous, just different color. All what I was experimenting with doing these socks, how tall I should knit from the after I made heel to up, and how high should be this higher part on the heel to hold this. So I was basically experimenting and was trying how. So that is a pink, and I made them on 9-inch. And what I can tell about 9-inch, it's okay, but it's really fiddling to start. When I was making the top, that was really hard. I had also problem on the heel, because I don't know if it's all 9-inch circulars or it just mine. I have mine from Eddie, as I tell. So one of needle, it's quite sharp, but another isn't that sharp. But when you do short row heel, you work forward also, like one side and then another. So when I was using that another side of needle, what is not that sharp, that wasn't that easy and was quite fiddling. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay to use them to knit in a round. So for tube socks or something like that, that's maybe will be my preferred method, but that's still not my favorite. Yes, and I also need these Shorties. Yes, and I think I use magic loop for them. I didn't block any of them yet, and this one still have even stitch markers when I was counting how many rows I should knit. And this one, I believe it have the highest, the biggest amount, the biggest numbers of the row after the heel. So I will try to look how that all will feel. So it's a little higher here. But I really like how they all look. Yarn feel nice. I don't know how that will hold and if that will don't stretch or another thing. I tried to use some cotton sock yarn last summer, but while I was knitting it, it was another yarn, not this. It was last summer, it was yarn from Regia. While I was knitting, it was like more stiff, so I knit couple more rows more as a normal knitting. but then after wash it's kind of like spreading, it's get bigger, and I still can use this, but not for the long time because the yarn stretches. So yeah, finally that was all my finished project. So yeah, if you want to zoom all this, so I have like 3 pairs of shorties, 1 pair of normal size socks, a top and a hat. I think that's pretty okay. Now I have this small balls of the yarn from that socks. I use just 50-gram balls for each of that because it's shorties and I still have some amount left. I don't know what to do with them, or should I maybe make one scrappy socks and use this, or just add to my cozy memory blanket. I don't decide it yet, but they all are here. That was all my finished objects. Now I just want to tell what I'm working on, and yes, that will be all for today. So first, my work in progress is, ta-da, 1 more socks. I casted on a sock. This time I decided to try these trio needles. I bought them again from Eddie. I know that Haya also have them, but it's not that much available in Denmark. But these Eddie needles, they're quite big here on the market, have quite big place here on the market, so it's easier to find them. So I bought them, I started them, and I find this really fun. It's kind of like, for me, the same like to do on a magic loop. Yeah, for me it's much easier as 9-inch or I don't know, DPNs. So for me it's quite fun, quite fast, and yeah, one problem, I'm always afraid to lose the third needle, because on 2 your stitches are always on 2, and then by needle number 3 you're knitting. Oops. So yeah, but as for me it's going quite smooth and I like how it's going. It's again the same yarn but different color, and I again started toe up. That wasn't easy to start, that was easy to increase, that was easier to do this as on DPNs. Yeah, I really can compare this to magic loop. Think it's my second favorite method now how to knit socks. So that's my first work in progress, and I'm also working on the shorts. Yeah, last time when I was podcasting, I showed you top what I test knitted. Yes, so that was ready, and designer is called Sophie Knits, and she was also making this top. It was a part of cozy set, and she was making also shorts. So I was really long waiting for the yarn to come because I was wanted to match it. But when yarn finally arrived, no, you can see it's not the same. It's have more yellow as this yarn, but I decided to go with this anyway because yeah, I don't know when I will get same color of yarn, so I decided to start that. And I don't have a lot to show for now because I make one leg and I cast on another leg, and when I will finish this, then I will just put these two together, and then we'll be starting increasing to make them in the shorts. But I like how it's going. Yeah, I think that will be a nice set to have for home when it's warm, or I don't know, maybe go to sea or something like that. Yes, I think it's all what I'm working on now. I also put some work on a blanket, but mostly all what I can think now it's socks, and I'm just thinking what more socks I want to cast on and which one I want to knit, when and how fast, and which method I want to use. I'm really happy that I tried this trio needles. I think if there wasn't this sock camp now, I will not be trying new things, but that's really interesting. So, yes, that's all what I have on my needles now, and that's all what I'm working. Next time, I believe, when I will be showing you, I will have more socks, and I will probably finish my shorts, and maybe then can show you all set together. Yes, other of those, that was all for me. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hi.